Hey, Curtis.
Hey, guys.
What do you got for us this week?
This week, we've got The Exorcist meets 1 Hour Photo meets Beethoven meets Problem Child. This week's movie, The Omen.
Yeah, I can see all that.
I threw in Beethoven just because the dogs.
Oh yeah, you got Beethoven's a comedy, Problem Child's a comedy. 1 Hour Photo's got Robin Williams, who's a comedian, and so this is right up there in that near the top of the pantheon of 70s comedies.
Yeah, it's a laugh riot, folks.
Dark. It's admittedly a very dark comedy. Mm-hmm. A lot of the humor may go over your heads, or under them, depending on where your head is.
6 feet under, yes.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the monthly podcast where we go back and forth with the theme. I am one of your hosts, Oz.
And I'm Curtis.
And we are wrapping up April.
Yeah, we are.
Creepy Kids in Movies Month coming to an end, with no creepier kid than the devil's own child.
Yep.
Damien.
Doesn't get much creepier than that.
Nope. So save the best for last, I suppose?
Sure. Best is one word you could use there, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. It's a fine film. Before we get rolling, though, let's give a shout out to our Patreon subscribers, Melissa L. and Don S. Thank you again for your continued support of the show. You can always click the link down below, whether in your podcast app or YouTube, if you feel like contributing to the show. We really appreciate the support, and we just love that you're listening anyway. So
I'm in it for the money.
Yeah, well, aren't we all? There's no point doing this. It's not fun if you're not getting paid. No.
Nope.
Right.
Nothing. Just doing it for the sake of doing it. I am in this for money.
And I've really taken an approach where I'm trying, instead of trying to teach things to my students, I'm trying to learn from my students. If there's one thing I've learned this year, it's definitely don't do anything without some form of payment. It's just not worth it.
No, that's how capitalism works, my friend.
Yeah. So that's it. Yep. I'm looking for a raise. Who's in charge of paying here? Are you paying, or am I? We'll figure it all out later. But either way, we need raises.
You scratch my back, then I scratch my back. That's how that works, right?
It's true. Yeah, it's trickle-down economics. So
voodoo economics.
Holly Smoot tariff. And just like that, we've spun Creepy Kids Month into Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The podcast where we start on a topic, folks, and end somewhere else. It's like film telephone.
Let's talk about tangents.
There you go. Our weekly trigonometry podcast where we discuss triangles.
Let's talk about hypotenuse.
Oh, well, before I turn you loose on the plot of this wrap-up film, let me get into
we got some characters, right, Oz?
Our characters, yeah. It's a fairly small cast of characters of importance, anyway. We are introduced to the Thorn family, led by Robert Thorn, played by 60-year-old Gregory Peck, the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain, and his wife Catherine Thorn, played by Lee Remick, who I think was like 40 or something like that around the time.
Yeah, I literally just looked at the age difference, and it's a 20-year difference.
Yeah. So that's his wife. So Gregory
Ain't Hollywood
Peck
great?
Yeah, why not? It's Gregory Peck. So
yeah, I feel like we should let it go for Gregory Peck. We shouldn't.
Yeah,
but it's Gregory Peck,
and it's the 70s.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's a politician. So whatever. And then they
patriarchy
have a child.
For all.
That's true. They have a child that they comfortably named Damien, which I have in my teaching career, I literally have never come across a student named Damien that's been a pleasant experience. It's one of those names that I think just you're destined. You're predestined to live a life of hardship if your name. Now, of course, I'm sure we're going to have all kinds of backlash of all our Damien fans that are going to be, my name's Damien and I do great things.
I got a Damien this year I'm working with. He seems like a pretty good kid.
That's good. That's good. And I'm just my personal recollection in my 19 years of education, I've probably come across 5 or 6 of them. And yeah, they're not quite Damien Thorn level, but
did you check under their hairline?
I did not. I didn't have that chance. Unfortunately, I stopped cutting kids' hair once I was fired from my first teaching job.
For cutting their hair.
There's a story, and it's not exactly false. No, I was a wrestling coach and was instructed by the referee that boy's hair is too long. And the head coach said, Osborne, go cut it. So I snipped his hair. I was told, and I didn't think I did a bad job, but the parent, it fell on my feet, unfortunately, as I was quickly thrown under the bus when the head coach got in trouble.
That's how that works.
And it ended up, honestly, being the demise of my first teaching job. It was like, that's enough. I'm like, okay. I wasn't tenured, so that's all they needed. But whatever. Other characters outside the Thorn family, we have a very curious photographer / journalist by the name of Jennings, played by David Warner. You would recognize him from that little film called Titanic.
From everything made from 1975 to 1997. Yeah,
so he was in that little indie film Titanic, but he was also in that big budget blockbuster Waxwork, which I would prefer to watch Waxwork over Titanic. And then 2 more characters, kind of Jennings' unofficial partner in crime is Father Brennan, a very concerned priest. And looking out for the Thorn family. And
very haunted man. That
very
haunted.
And then we have arguably the most evil person in the movie, Mrs. Blaylock.
Yeah.
Who is Damien's nanny, I suppose. But she is something else. She if there's no reason to fear Damien if you've got Mrs. Blaylock around, because she's the real terror. So that's it. I've got 6. Were there any you wanted to add?
Nah, that's good. Yeah. The others are just, whatever.
Right, yeah.
That's really all you need to know.
It's about those 6. And I was even on the fence about Father Brennan, but he had a cool death, so I thought I should probably throw him in.
He did. That made the front page.
The front page. I know. I love that too. It's like, hey, we need to get this. Whoa. Let me grab a photo real quick for the paper. Before you throw a sheet over him or before you take him off his skewer, let me. He's priest kebabbed.
He's on a spit. Man, rotisserie priest.
Whoa. Gotta get a picture for the front page. Yeah, it was something. I'm glad. Now, I have never seen a 70s newspaper where they've had someone in their death pose on the front page, but
I hope when I go that I make front page. However
with
I
a
die.
Picture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's not front page news. It's front page
right.
like a front page photo. So whether it's like a grisly accident or just like old age in my deathbed or whatever. Like there better be a photo of me. Deceased for about 30 seconds on the front page of the
I want a quarter page photo of my death pose, but
I've already taken ads out with the local newspapers just in the event of my untimely demise,
just to secure the spot.
Yep I took a quarter page out.
Weekly. Right. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah, right above the local HVAC place.
Right. Someone's got to sponsor it.
Yep.
Oh, so
this grisly murder brought to you by
by Sam's Heating and Cooling.
Your furnace on the fritz? Call Sam's.
Your one-stop shop for all heating and cooling needs.
Smooth segue into the beginning of the Omen.
Smooth.
Yep, and we start with one of my favorite movie tropes, which we mentioned this last week when we were talking about Children of the Corn. But one of my favorite movie tropes, like the chanting, singing in movies like this that have like religious or spiritual elements to it.
like the Latin phrase for this song is called like Dear Satan or something like that. Like, you know, they just jump right into it. Like, we've got the Philharmonic here, right? Yeah. Okay, let's get him going.
Is that like Dear Abby, Dear Satan?
I think so. Yeah, Dear Satan. He's
Dear
really
Satan.
soft. He's a soft-hearted fella.
I've been with my man for 18 months, and he hasn't said the L word yet. What should I do? Ask it for a friend. Wink.
Right. It's like before Delilah was on the air, we had Satan. Satan had a syndicated radio spot. Look, you know, single red male looking for my lost son.
I could see like the teaser image of him just like twirling his tail in his hand.
Yeah, with his smoke billowing behind him.
So we open with Robert in a limo in Rome.
Yeah.
And we get a voiceover from someone else that says, "The child is dead. He breathed but for a moment." So like right away you're like, okay, dead kids who are in Rome.
Right.
It's an American in Rome. You know, it's a very dark motif. Like it's a very literally dark film.
You know what though?
Huh?
The wrong kid died.
You've been waiting with that one, haven't you?
I have.
There's our weekly reference to Walk Hard with the Dewey Cox story.
At least we get to throw it out like in the opening scene.
That's right.
Wrong kid died.
And it works in this one.
It does.
Wrong kid died.
The poor Thorns.
So yeah, he pulls up to a church or a convent, or it might have even been like a part of the hospital, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was a hospital.
Because like I think it's a hospital that's affiliated with the church.
Yeah. And this was back before like giant hospital organizations had a Catholic name and took over all the hospitals. I think this was a legit like church hospital.
Yeah.
So
Robert again, who's about to be named the American ambassador to Britain.
He's just a politician.
Yeah, just rando American politician.
Yeah. Right. Talking to Rome.
Yeah, talks to this priest about his dead kid, and he takes the priest's advice, Oz, and he adopts a random child to replace his dead son, and doesn't tell his wife. So we're off to a rip roaring start here, Oz.
Yeah. Mr. Thorn, we've got an opportunity for you. Yeah, yes, we know that your child died, but guess what? Your wife doesn't know it, and we just happen to have this loose baby without a mom over here.
Yeah, without a mother or any relatives or anyone to claim it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so we've got the Catholic Church like we got to get rid of this baby. You know, and we've got an American politician that's like, I can't deal with a scandal. There's no scandal for having a deceased child. But it's just, he sweeps it up like, whew, that was a close one. Like, we're gonna full speed ahead on this plan. Oh.
Yep, so he accepts the baby and he lies to his wife. I mean, right away, we're off to a great ethical start here.
I think in his mind, though, it's not a lie if it never comes up. I just think like she never asked him, because why would a mother ask, is this our kid? You know, she's been handed a baby and she's like, oh, my child, because I came in here pregnant, I gave birth, and now I have a baby in my arms, and Robert's sitting back like, yep.
You know what this movie does? It proves the Dwight Schrute approach to making sure you bring the correct baby home. You make a mark on it that only you would recognize.
Right. You take the Sharpie, Robert Thorn.
Yep.
And, it's just, and you know what? We're not even going to feel guilty about it. We're not going to have any sense of remorse. We came here expecting to go home with a baby, and we have a baby. So here we go.
Got a baby.
And we didn't take the baby. They gave it to us.
Yeah. So they have a baby. And it's
have a baby.
Theirs. He knows that. She doesn't.
Right. Ever. She never knows it.
No.
She never finds out.
So this is
Unless
a
I fell
healthy
asleep at that
relationship built on trust.
But you know what? She's 20 years younger than he is. What? She's just dumb. What is she gonna know?
I'm debating whether to pile onto this or not.
I mean, he's clearly much more intelligent than she is. I mean, he's got 20 years more life experience. He's a 60-year-old first-time dad.
When you combine politics and Hollywood, this is the result you get.
Yeah. So, good for you,
60-year-old first-time dad.
Right. Hey, how many kids does Mick Jagger have? He's still spitting them out. Alec Baldwin, he's up in the kid count. Eddie Murphy's got like 10. So why can't Gregory Peck have an extra one at 60? Or a first one at 60?
I mean, I guess you can't argue that logic.
Don't discriminate. Quit discriminating. All right.
That's me. All right, so we cut to a couple years later, and Robert has shared he's the new ambassador to Britain. Good for Robert. They got a new home.
Right.
They kind of half joke about like, oh, Kathy, you're going to be the next, as a future first lady. So like, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like so it insinuates he knows like the president.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like they're playing themselves up to be like the Caucasian Jeffersons. They're just moving on up. Like.
That's exactly what I thought of here. That's the analogy here. The Jeffersons equal the Thorns.
Well, that's how he's acting. We're just
moving on up to Great Britain.
All right. To the White House.
We then cut to Damien's 5th birthday. They're kind of in the backyard of this like palatial estate.
Yeah, having a carnival for his birthday.
Yeah, in Great Britain. We get introduced to Keith, the photographer, played by the one and only David Warner, and also the supporting role played by his scarf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he definitely had a scarf. He reminded me of Snoopy in his Red Baron pose. Like, just always that scarf billowing somewhere.
Yeah, this like silk scarf that's just tucked in there. I don't know if that was his choice or if that was like a greater creative choice or whatever, but I don't know what it is. That scarf bothered me.
That's a David Warner choice. It's got to be.
I had a feel. Yeah.
Yeah, this being like one, I think this may have been Richard Donner's like first film kind of thing. He wasn't at liberty to be like, Warner, scarf, now. I think Warner's like, I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to see if I can just keep it on. And it was so inconsequential that he was now stuck with it for the whole movie.
Yeah. Donner, you want to keep that Superman gig? I keep the scarf.
That's right. Besides, if I don't have the scarf on, my head might fall off.
Well, but you can't argue that logic.
Right. It's like the yellow ribbon was that short story or something like that where...
We get introduced to a young nanny who's there, and she's kind of, doing her nanny thing with little 5-year-old Damien. Did you see in the trivia who this nanny is? I know I read it, but I forget right now. Who's the nanny?
Jack Palance's daughter.
That's right. One arm push-up himself.
Yeah, Jack was working on a TV show with Richard Donner, and Donner had told him he was going to be filming this movie in Britain, and Jack Palance told him, hey, when you get over there, look up my daughter. She's a great actress. So he did, and here she is. She's the first nanny of Damien's.
Yep, the first, but not the last.
No.
She gets into a staring contest with a random Rottweiler that just happens to be walking around this estate.
It brought his own soundtrack. Every time he saw this Rottweiler, he's cranked it to 11. He's a Latin Rottweiler.
So, hey, it's what is it, the root language of all the European languages. So Damon's on a merry-go-round, and they're having a great time. Having a great time. And then you hear
smiling.
You hear Jack Palance's daughter yell off camera, "Look at me, Damien! It's all for you."
Right, and before this, see, like she had Damien like the whole time, and Catherine was like, I'll take him, like I want to be with my kid, and she was, I won't say put off by it, the nanny, but almost like she was playing a role here that we elaborate on here, momentarily, but it was, it was definitely, in the works kind of thing. But yeah, she, like you said, she's yelling, "Look at me, Damien." She's loud too. She's quite a ways away, and she's like,
Well, she is standing on like the 4th floor balcony or whatever.
That's true. With a bullhorn, maybe. I didn't see the bullhorn.
It's called the Doppler effect, Oz. Look it up.
Right, it's true.
I'm pretty sure that's the right science here.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Doppler effect. Look it up. Yeah. It fits. You know, the Doppler effect is
just take my word for it. You don't have to look it up.
Yeah, don't look it up. I'm a man of science.
Right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So Foghorn Nanny up here is billowing out. Look at me.
And she has a rope around her neck.
It's all for you. Oh, so creepy.
Yeah. Steps off, and not only is it graphic, just being someone hanging themselves, but her body, her corpse swings into this huge glass window.
Yes.
So it's a very off-putting scene, and intentionally off-putting.
Yes.
And it's 10 minutes into the movie, something like that.
And I'll admit, and you'll probably back me up on this. This is something I think this movie does very well. It's a horror film, but it's a horror film because of like 3 or 4 moments.
Yeah.
You take those 3 or 4 moments out, and it's just a family drama.
I'd say it's basically, going back to my marriage, it's basically Beethoven.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it's a thriller drama, but it's like 3 scenes in this movie really push it into that horror. And this is the first of the ones that I'm thinking of. Absolutely.
So, we cut to Robert arriving to the ambassador's office the next day, kind of accosted by reporters, and he accidentally breaks Keith's camera, and he says that he'd rather Robert owe him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he apologizes. Send me the bill, I'll take care of that. And
I'd rather you owe me.
Yeah, Jennings plays it up. Yeah, he again takes a note right out of the Dwight Schrute playbook of it's better to be owed a favor in the future than to receive payment now.
Yep. So he's basically, he probably owns a beet farm also.
He probably does. Yeah, this the Office was heavily influenced by the decisions of the Omen.
Yeah, I mean they go hand in hand.
Mark your child at the Hospital. That led to Dwight. Yeah, there's definitely.
I mean, Ms. Baylock is basically Angela.
Yeah, with yeah, definitely with a little Meredith in her.
Yeah,
got a little crazy Meredith in there.
Yeah, I mean, and Gregory Peck is basically Kevin.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking more Creed Bratton, who's 20 years older than everybody else in the movie.
There you go. Creed Bratton, who's like 80 years old now in real life or something crazy like that.
Oh yeah.
So we're in the office with Robert. We're in his office, and a Father Brennan asks to see him. It's personal, so he gets buzzed in, and he speaks in hushed tones because that's the kind of moment that this is. It's very urgent.
And that's all it takes in 70s politics to get to the person you want to talk to is just say, it's personal.
Oh, well, in that case.
It's personal.
Buzz him in.
Ambassador Thorn.
And everyone else leave. Security, you stay outside.
Yeah. Ambassador Thorn, there's a priest here to see you. Well, what's he want? He says it's personal. All right.
Okay.
Send him in.
Cancel my 12 o'clock.
Right. I've never seen nor heard of this man in my life, but it's personal. So
yep, it's got to be important. So he comes in and he's speaking in hushed tones. You must accept Christ as your savior. You must accept him now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have led with that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely got my attention.
Yeah. It was very Latter-day Saints of him.
Yeah.
You got a moment to talk about Jesus. I'd have probably led with an... Yeah.
What has ambassadorship done for you lately?
Right. It's like I was waiting for him to hand over a copy of Watchtower or something like that.
Here's a copy of the Gideon's Bible. And
right. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway.
One thing leads to another.
Right. I was at the hospital.
And your soul is condemned for all of eternity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's... This guy knows something's up. He knows that something's going to happen. He knows bad things are going to happen here. And he makes reference to the son of the devil. He'll kill once, he'll kill again. There's a picture of
everything.
Yeah, there's a picture of Kathy and Damien prominently placed in the framing of these shots here. it's yeah. I mean, imagine being Robert in this scene, and like this guy busts in.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, you did allow him in, so it's kind of on him.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's also somehow refreshing to see a man of the cloth actually like extremely devoted to the religion side of the cloth, as opposed to a lot of your mega church, people that we have around today that are like, oh, the Lord says, send me all your money. And, and so it is nice to guy walk in and be like, hey, son of the devil's around. It's like, oh, so, okay.
So
I
need
said,
to
between Father Brennan and the priest in Dead Alive, there aren't many movie men of the cloth that are as devoted as those two, because he kicks butt for the Lord.
Yes, he does. And this guy Brennan says that I saw its mother. Interesting way to talk about the mother of a human child.
Right.
I saw its mother.
Oh yeah, he's convinced. I mean, from day one. Nope. This is the son of the devil, and you took him home with you, and now I'm warning you about it.
Why has he waited 5 years?
I was wondering, because nothing happened in 5 years. What is it with that 5-year mark? Like, Damien's been the son of the devil for, spoiler alert, for 5 years.
What?
It's like until his fifth birthday, nothing awful happened.
That's it.
Like the Doberman doesn't show up until his 5th birthday. The nanny doesn't hang herself. It's like all of these are on his 5th birthday, and this is the day after his 5th birthday. So it's like Father Brennan's been waiting. Like, oh, the time has come. Guess what?
And now, okay.
Yeah.
By the way,
that kid that you took home 5 years ago, son of Satan. Sorry we talked you into it, though. Like, because they did. They were, like, talking him into, you need to take this kid. So, if Father Brennan was at the church/hospital that night, why was he so on board with sending home the son of the devil with someone else?
I mean, he plainly said, I saw its mother.
Yeah.
So you'd think he would have been weirded out about it then, especially since later in the film we find out what it was.
What's its mother looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and these guys, I don't know, I don't get it. You'd have thought that if the son of the devil were on earth, that in a Catholic church would have been the best place to like control it.
Yeah.
Instead of like, well, let's send them out in the world, see what happens.
You'd think they'd be more prepared.
Right. You'd think so.
Nope.
No.
So we get a quick cut to Keith, to Jennings in his apartment, developing some pictures, and he notices a strange shape in the background.
Yeah, he keeps taking keeps taking pictures of Father Brendan every chance he gets. He sees them and takes a picture, and then he's develops a couple of them now. And you're right, there's an error in the film.
Mm-hmm. There's a little line that seems to go through people.
Yeah.
Hey,
just Father Brennan.
Hey, Oz, back at the residence here, we get introduced to Miss Baylock. They set a new nanny. The governor,
the agency.
Yeah.
And again, like, the Thorns have a real issue with letting people into their proximity without clearance. Mm-hmm. Like, you are the American ambassador to Great Britain. You are an important person. Your wife knows you're an important person, and yet this lady shows up. And I'm Mrs. Blaylock. Well, so they like, I need to go see your son. Oh, absolutely. Like, she's halfway down the hallway before the Thorns are like, wait a second.
Who are you again?
Wait a moment. And so they ask her, well, why are you here? Oh, the agency sent me. All right. Well, if the agent
checks out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, proceed. Go nanny my child.
Nothing called the agency could ever do anything wrong or evil.
And go nanny my child as I'm a stay-at-home mom of a single 5-year-old boy. I clearly need help. Ugh.
We get a little scene of Baylock talking to Damien. She goes in and talks to him and closes the door behind her, and she says, "Have no fear, little one. I am here to protect thee."
Yeah. And he's all like, okay. You just wonder. I don't think at this point, I don't think Damien fully recognizes who he is. I don't know if Damien fully recognizes ever who he is, because he's only 5 through the entire movie. But I really don't think like he knows who he is. I mean, because he calls them mom and dad, and so I think that is, and so with her saying that, I don't think he gets that.
Well, regardless, they bring him to church. There's a wedding, right? They're going to a wedding.
They got to go to a wedding. Yep.
They're going to a wedding, and Balak's trying to make every excuse for him not to go.
And finally, boy doesn't need to be at a wedding.
Yeah, he doesn't understand what's going on. And so Kathy's like, my son is going to the wedding. It's like, good for you, Kathy, standing up for your son, which you should do because you're his mother. But
we've seen you do it twice now. I will take my son on the carousel while you go hang yourself. And I will take my son to this wedding, even though we have a nanny that we don't know why. But yeah, I agree. Good for you. Step in when it's good for appearances.
Yeah, when it's convenient for you to be a parent.
Right.
So they pull up to the church. Damien kind of looks distressed at the sight of the church, and he's just kind of staring off into space.
He's a little sweaty.
Yeah. And then he freaks out.
Yeah, he waits for
reaching.
Yeah, he waits for Robert to get out of the car, and then he just he goes after Mom.
Yeah, he goes ape poo poo, and he's scratching at Kathy, clawing at her, screaming
pulling her hair.
Help. Yeah. So they go back home.
And you know what though, as a former photographer that has shot dozens and dozens of weddings, the Thorns probably dodged a bullet here. 5-year-old kids at a wedding with nothing else to do, it can be a real pain. So he was, they probably dodged a bullet on this one. So should have listened to the nanny.
We should have listened.
And what was Balak going to do at home with him? She was just going to protect him. They could have gone and had a nice evening, left him at home. Like, she was where she needed to be. So she was just going to. It'd have been fine. Thorns are awful parents.
yeah, they're not really good.
They really are.
They're not. Let's see. Later, Robert walks by Damien's room, and he's greeted by the growling Rottweiler that they... Was it a Rottweiler?
Doberman.
Doberman? Okay.
I don't know. It was
Angry dog.
Yeah, it was a junkyard dog. Not the junkyard dog.
It's not JYD.
Which would have made this movie... It would have been a comedy had JYD been... with his... that would have been awesome.
Oh, the acting prowess of JYD across from Gregory Peck. Ooh.
I want to see that movie.
I do too.
I know they remade The Omen with Liev Schreiber and that other lady, Julia Stiles. I want to see another remake, only bring in somebody to be JYD.
JYD, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Brother Love. Yeah, Brother Love as Father Brennan.
Complete with red face. I would love that.
And Paul Bearer as Jennings.
Yeah, Undertaker's in there somewhere. Yeah. Paul Bearer is Jennings.
Complete with the neck scarf.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if Paul Bearer could have fit a neck scarf in there. He had several necks.
Scary Sherry is Mrs. Balak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been a good casting.
It would have been. But of course, Jake the Snake plays Kathy Thorn. She's the mom with her hair, with her long hair.
Yeah, Jake is Kathy.
I want to see this movie desperately.
That would be something to see that combination of characters and people in those roles. That's all I got there. So Robert scolds Balak, like, what is this dog doing in our home? And she's like, well, I found it outside.
It's a good dog.
He's
a great guard dog.
We could use a watchdog, so I brought this random seething dog inside.
Right. The one with his own Latin chanting soundtrack every time he's on screen. It's a good spot for him. In your son's room. She's a great nanny. And these are great parents.
And she's like, I'll get rid of it soon.
Yeah,
And Robert's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, how does, I don't know. I shouldn't project like his parenting skills and his, his kind of home attributes and how he conducts things in his household to what he does for a living. But like, does he get stepped on by like other ambassadors and like, diplomats in his day job?
I wouldn't be surprised if his day job is the focus of everything, and that this, like, he loves his wife. I believe that, but she's 20 years younger than he is. I mean, as actresses, like, she's a trophy.
Yeah. You beat me to it. I was gonna go there next, but yeah.
Yeah, she's a trophy. This cute little blonde mom. And I've got a son. It's like having a son was so important that they took a son. It's not even their son. Like, yes, it's awful that their son died at birth. Unfortunately, that happens, and you mourn and you try to live a life where that, is part of your reality. But not him. He's like, oh, I'll just take that kid and insert him into our family, because it's never mentioned again that it's not his kid. Like, from the moment that they took that baby home, he has never addressed that child as being from somebody else's conception. It's my kid. I think it's the outwardly projection is all that matters to him. And so I don't think he gets walked over. I think he probably steps on as many people as he can on his climb to the top, and whatever's going on at home is of ill importance.
Well, it's good politics. It's good optics.
Exactly.
It's good branding.
I'm a family man.
Yeah. That reminds me of a episode of The Simpsons where Selma and Troy McClure get married. And Troy McClure, who has an agent who's voiced by Jeff Goldblum, and he's like, you know what? Like, you've gotten married. Yeah, that's what the people want right now. Now, it's good publicity for you to have a kid, and that's when Selma calls it off.
Right. Yeah. Because it's not genuine, and that's again, I do feel he loves his wife. I do. I mean, I don't think that he's completely heartless, because we do see as the movie goes on that he does completely shift his focus from paying attention to being a politician to rectifying the situation where he has given a home to the son of the devil. but at this point, like, his priority is, don't make my home life stress me out. I've got bigger, more important things to focus on.
Yep, he doesn't let himself feel dad guilt.
And how hard can it be to be the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain?
Yeah,
like, you're an ally.
You drink some tea.
But I'm just saying, it's like they're an ally. It's not like you're trying to get everybody, get their government on board with what we're doing in the States. Like, we're friends, we're partners. Like, it's a cush job.
You eat some boiled meat with the queen.
Right,
yeah, that's all you gotta do.
That's all you have to do.
Just maybe some potatoes.
Just shove vegetables in some animal stomach and
you're good to go.
Eat it with pudding.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember to call it, the loo and the lift, and you're set.
That's all you have. That's all there is.
It's color.
Piccadilly,
it's color with a U.
Right. Yeah, just add U's to everything. Everything you put an O in, put a U after it, and
I mean, that's really the hardest part.
Yeah, and now his focus is, Mrs. Baylock's playing him like a fiddle, though. I'll get rid of that dog. Oh, okay, thank you. Nanny we never hired.
So, Oz, next they go to the zoo. Kathy takes Damien to the zoo.
Let's go to the zoo.
And
Who doesn't love the zoo?
Well, Damien. I will say the animals.
Damien loves the zoo. The animals don't like the zoo.
Yeah. So this is a fun scene, by the way. It's not a long scene, but it's a fun. It just and it doesn't really do much for the plot, but it's fun, and it demonstrates, just how evil of a presence, and how because like in any movie or TV show, the animals are always the first to know.
Yes, yeah. Animal instincts play a huge part in, if you see them running out of the forest, then you need to run too, because animals lead the way.
What's gotten into Banjo? Storm must be coming.
Yeah, I mean, even Lassie, people would fall in the well, and no one would know if Lassie wasn't there to tell him that Timmy fell in the well again.
Yeah, Lassie just knew. It's called canine intuition.
Right, and so same here, giraffe intuition.
Yeah, baboon intuition.
Right. I love how the giraffes don't take off right away. Like, Damien shows up and he's looking at the giraffes and he's having a good time because he is a 5-year-old kid. He's been raised as a 5-year-old kid.
Giraffes are fun.
Yeah, he hasn't been raised by Satan worshippers or paganists or anything. Like, he's been raised as a 5-year-old child. So he's like, oh, he's just looking at these, at these giraffes. The giraffes are eating the leaves. And it's almost like one of the giraffes catches a glimpse of him there. Like, he'd been there and the giraffe didn't recognize it because he's 20 feet below him. And he sees him and it's like, oh, it just kind of startles and then they all take off.
It would have been better if a giraffe did a double take, like, oh.
I know. That's kind of how they reacted, though.
With the big long neck, like,
their eyes get all big.
What?
Maybe when we redo the Omen with 80s era wrestlers, we'll make sure the giraffes do a double take.
The giraffe does a spit take.
Yeah. We'll have the Great Khali playing the giraffe.
Great Khali.
The Great Khali and Elegante.
Yeah,
They'll
it's
be
the giraffes. There you go. So the giraffes run away, and then they go to the baboon exhibit.
Yeah, the drive-through baboon exhibit.
Yeah. So basically the baboons attack the car. And I guess Lee Reminick was pretty freaked out at this. In real life.
I'm sure you read it too. I saw in the trivia that they wanted an authentic reaction out of the baboons, so they took a baby baboon into the car, and the baboons could care less. But when the zookeeper took like the lead baboon, the rest of the baboons, like everything you saw in film was legit. Like they are trying to destroy the car and everyone in it. And Donner's like, keep rolling.
keep the cameras going.
Right.
And very Stanley Kubrick-esque approach there.
Only Kubrick would have had Lee Remick outside of the car.
Yeah, getting torn to pieces.
Yeah, but yeah, this was definitely and because it's like whenever you feel unsafe, just go ahead and drive away. Like we've got 13 baboons on our car. Just drive away. We can always cut. we'll edit it out later.
8 baboons killed in production of The Omen today.
front page of the next day's paper.
there's one spear going through all 8 of them.
Just 8 baboon carcasses. Oh, like a shish kebab.
And it's sticking vertically out of the ground.
It's a bunch of Rafikis. They're all just skewered. That's all the daily beat wants on the front page.
Oh, we're not making any friends with the animal community today.
That's all right. I don't. Well, PETA doesn't follow us on Twitter, so we're probably all right.
They are now. So they get home and Kathy kind of processes. I'm crying, by the way, now. Kathy kind of processes with Robert about, she wants to see a psychiatrist about fear she's having. Robert even insinuates there's something wrong with Damien. Like, hello, yes.
It's like Robert forgot. Like, oh yeah, this isn't really my kid. I forgot that my actual blood child was born to see. What are they doing?
Wrong Nigel kid died. Right. So the next day, Robert's watching a rugby game, and Keith is there taking photos because apparently he's the only photographer in London.
In England, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been assigned to the Thorns.
Yeah, so he's covering kids' birthday parties and rugby matches. Right. Because
Father Brennan, wherever Father Brennan happens to be. Yeah.
And so, speaking of Father Brennan, he approaches Robert again and says Kathy will die unless they talk soon.
Right. It's like, again, I don't know if I'd have led with that.
And where's Robert's security detail?
He doesn't have it. He's in Britain. Where's the bobbies?
And so, Keith takes Father Brennan photo and suspects something. He has kind of an eerie look on his face, whatever. And later Keith develops the photos and he notices the same line shadows in the picture of Brennan. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
So Robert approaches Father Brennan on this park bench, and Father Brennan...
Right, because he agrees to meet him.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to talk because your wife is going to die.
Okay.
And, meet me on that park bench tomorrow. Oh, okay. I'll be there. I'll
Come
be there
alone.
by myself.
Come alone. Okay.
Right.
Can I bring the Rottweiler?
No.
Okay.
The Rottweiler that you think has been gotten rid of.
Yeah. So Brennan starts citing revelations, talking about Satan taking a human form. He says Robert must travel abroad, and he starts describing like how Damien must die. Like,
Right.
oh, okay. It's kind of a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. Again, like Brennan, I'll give him this. He's a cut to the chase kind of guy. There's no small talk and informalities with Father Brennan. He's
no buttering up a conversation.
No,
there.
I'm here to talk to you about this and open your ears because here it comes.
Hey, good to see you. How you doing, you old so and so? The Book of Revelations.
Your wife is going to die.
Speaking of Kathy, Brennan says that she's pregnant, which is news to Robert.
Right, Brennan. This was a little eerie. Like maybe Brennan's. I don't know. But, like, how did he know?
He says that Damien's going to kill the baby in the womb. Then he'll kill you, and he will establish his counterfeit Earth. Like, oh, that escalated quickly.
I'd like to see what Father Brennan does on his downtime.
I bet she collects stamps.
I bet he hangs out at the slaughtered lamb. That's what he does.
The slaughtered lamb.
That's what Father Brennan does, yeah.
Was that in, like, Scotland?
Yeah, that's where he spends his time. He goes to the American Werewolf in London bar.
Yep.
And
plays darts.
And he hangs out with those people that are just waiting for the next werewolf uprising.
Yep.
Like there is no downtime in Brennan's life.
And so Robert walks away, and this like eerie wind starts blowing around Brennan, and you hear thunderclaps, and a storm just comes out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Lightning is striking everywhere. Brennan spots a church. He tries to get in. The storm's getting worse. The doors are locked. And then Oz. I'll let you take this one. Oz, what happens next?
Well, a church. It has a lightning rod on top, and the lightning strikes the church, and the lightning rod.
So the rod does its purpose.
It does its purpose, and it breaks loose, and it comes. And this is a very tall church, by the way. I think it's important to know that. As it strikes, Father Brennan looks up and he sees the lightning rod break loose of the top of the roof of the church and start javelining itself towards Father Brennan, who makes no effort to move at all. Right? Yes, and it skewers him right. It just pierces him. It pins him to the ground.
Sticks in the ground.
In the exact same location of the slices in the film developed by Jennings. It was a precursor of something's going to happen to Brennan, and it's going to happen right here, and it does. And thankfully, though, the other photojournalist in London happened to be walking by and snapped a quick picture for his front page article. It's the only picture in the movie we see where Jennings didn't take it.
Probably young Peter Parker over there.
Right.
For the Daily Bugle.
But yeah, it just, that's the end. And it's the second horrific moment of the movie.
Yes.
The hanging of the nanny being one, and Father Brennan getting skewered. And we see it. Like it's pretty great practical effects, really. I mean, because we see it just pierce him, stick him to the ground, and he just, of course, immediately dies and falls limp. But he's, of course, skewered.
But he's propped up, yeah.
He's still standing upright. So it's
like a scarecrow almost.
Yeah. And there are really no jump scares in this movie, but the scares are pretty effective because they are few and very far between, but they are unsettling, and this was the second of which.
Yeah, very, very cool death sequence here.
Yeah.
So back at home, Damien's playing loudly, which Kathy's like, tells Baylock, just get him out. She's upset. Yeah. Damien stares down Kathy.
Yeah.
Kathy tells Robert she doesn't want any more kids, but I'm also pregnant and I want an abortion.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're cool with that, right?
Yeah,
we could do that.
And so Robert's like, okay, because Brennan just told him that like Kathy's pregnant.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah.
Robert gets a phone call, tells him to check the newspaper, and there's that picture.
Yeah.
There's
By
that
the way,
picture.
maybe Kathy got her pregnancy test taken at the church hospital. Maybe she went all the way back to Rome to get a pregnancy test done, and Brennan, he was at the church hospital.
He was there.
So maybe that's why Brennan knew, because he doesn't know anything now. He did.
Then we get an incredibly unethical psychiatrist, by the way. It's Kathy.
70s psychiatrist.
Yes, Kathy psychiatrist. I roll my eyes. Just mental health depictions in movies. And,
Yeah.
So Robert goes and talks with Kathy psychiatrist. Like nothing like client privilege or anything there.
Yeah.
Who tells Robert about Damien being like alien and evil, and like that's how Kathy sort of like is fantasizing about Damien. And so
Right.
like she's having these weird feelings that Damien is not hers. And the psychiatrist, I took a quote down here. The most important thing for you to do is agree to an abortion.
That's it. That's the most important thing.
Because that's the role of a psychiatrist, is to make those kinds of statements. Not empower your
70s.
clients, not look out for the health and well-being, but just you should probably just have an abortion.
Yeah, I'm tired of listening to her yap. Just give her what she wants.
And so Robert drives home, and he's just kind of all over the place. Speaking of driving, we cut to Damien riding his tricycle around the room.
Yeah, very
Aw.
Danny in The Shining here.
What a cute little scene here.
He is.
He's just riding his tricycle. He's making vroom vroom sounds, Oz.
Yeah, he is. He's having a good time.
He's going vroom
right,
vroom.
He's just riding in circles in his room. That's
Yep.
what he's doing. He's just in his bedroom, just riding in circles.
Oz, what's Kathy up to while he's doing this?
Kathy was she hanging a plant or something?
Yeah, she like watering a house plant or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's, tending to things. Because they only have the money, which that's an interesting question. Are they paying Mrs. Baylock?
I don't know. They never show her like
Right.
being compensated for her services.
Because you would think that if she's been sent from the agency, you probably pay the agency, and the agency pays the nannies.
Mm-hmm.
So the agencies, they're still taking these checks from the Thorns. They don't have a nanny there, but whatever. Yeah, but so they can't afford like a handyman, but they can afford a nanny.
Yep.
So she's watering plants, and as you do, you hang your plants like over the railing of your second floor.
Yeah, over a giant
And so-
balcony.
Yeah. And so she she gets a little step stool, and she needs to water that plant. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of sets it's like she takes like there's a fishbowl sitting on it or something, and
Yeah.
and so Damien's still riding around in circles, and about this time that Kathy is up in a very vulnerable position.
Yes, very precarious.
Baylock opens the door, and Damien takes his big wheel tricycle ride straight at her.
Yeah, bumps the
Yeah.
stool out from under Kathy, and of course she just whoa falls over the rail, hangs on for a moment. She must have some
I know.
forearm strength.
Yeah, and some like go-go gadget arms, because the trajectory that she fell. We covered trajectory in our other podcast. Let's talk about tangents. But anyway, when she fell, and then gave the illusion that she went head over heels, and then snatches the like you said, the bottom of the railing there, and Damien comes right to face with her.
Mm-hmm. She's probably got a salmon ladder in the backyard to work on those forearms.
Probably. She's a descendant of the Popeye family, I believe. So she's strong to the finish.
Yeah, she's training for a British Ninja Warrior.
Right? Or one of those like
forearms.
European slap contests that they have that are big now. But Damien, he just kind of comes, just comes.
She's hanging on, and he just puts his face down and doesn't offer to help her, just stares at her. And
realistically, though, what was he going to do?
Hey, Mom, you need a hand?
Yeah, so he takes her hand. He's 5.
Well, he could at least offer to help.
He
Like-
could have,
like-
but we
like
only,
you-
we
like-
only hear him say like 3 words the whole
Like,
movie.
you want me to get somebody to help you out? Because like we could do that.
Mom?
I mean that dog's
Yeah.
there,
Yeah, right. I'll go down and catch you.
and she falls and lands directly on her stomach.
Yeah.
And
Problem solved, I guess.
Yep.
Like-
cut to the hospital. A doctor says the baby's lost. And
And then we cut to the Thorns rejoicing like at the end of, Jedi with Ewoks. It's like everybody's celebrating because apparently everybody wanted the baby gone anyway, so time to celebrate, I guess.
I don't think they never said thank you, Damien.
They never did thank Damien.
Well, you know who would be
Thank
happy?
you, Mrs. Bailey.
You know who would be happy is the psychiatrist.
Oh, yeah. Whew.
He
Don't have
dodged
to
a
hear
bullet.
that. Don't have to hear about that. This is awful, though. So you're right. She's in the hospital.
Yeah.
She lost the child.
She mumbles to Robert, "Don't let him kill me."
Like,
That might be something to take note of.
Yeah, nobody in this movie does small talk with Robert.
No, it's all like right there.
Right. It's because he's 60. And if I don't tell him, he'll forget. Like,
He's Gregory Peck.
right.
He takes everything with a grain of salt. At home, Robert's checking on a sleeping Damien. He gets a call from Keith. Keith Jennings, the photographer, asks, "Yeah, you need to come over," which he does. Apparently, he just drops everything in the middle of the night. Shows up at
does what he's told. He's
shows
got
up
to
at-
keep your voters happy.
Or maybe this was the favor that Jennings was calling in.
There you go. Yeah, in a deleted scene, he tells, "Not right now," and Jennings was like, "But you owe me." It was a very quick snippet. I don't know why they cut it, but yeah.
It would have made a lot more sense. So
Yeah,
he goes
absolutely.
over and he shows Robert the pictures of the first nanny and Father Brennan and how they had this weird shadow in the pictures. So Keith reveals that Father Brennan had a birthmark on his leg of 3 6s. So he's been doing some investigation in addition
Yeah.
to just his normal, like photojournalism here.
He's been up in the ante here.
He's been basically tracking Father Brennan, notes some weird stuff about a comet passing on June 6th at 6 a.m., the same date of Damien's birth.
It's a little, this is where things, while still obviously in the universe, things get a little.
We get a little. Robert tells Jennings, "Yeah, my biological son is dead," and Keith's
My
like,
wife doesn't even know it.
Yeah, and so Keith's like, you know what? I'm in this with you because I caught myself in a picture, and that same shadow is hanging over me now too.
Yeah.
So he's pulled in whether he wants to or not. Jennings is a
Right.
part of this.
Does anybody ever give thought that it might be the camera?
Maybe. I mean, you're the photographer here.
Former, retired. I like to say that.
It's the last day on the job. I'm getting too old for this.
Right. Yeah. And there was a Goosebumps episode with Ryan Gosling about like a killer. I think it was Ryan Gosling on that one with a killer camera that you take a picture with it and it predicts your death or whatever. I think it was influenced by Jennings' character in The Omen. I think.
It all traces
I don't
back
know.
to Jennings.
You know what? I do know. Don't research it. Just take my word for it.
It's the same way that the Thorns treated Balak.
Exactly. Yeah. Just take my word for it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's
But
fine.
yeah, but you're right. Jennings is like, oh, I've got one of those marks too.
Uh-oh. So now Jennings and Robert travel to Rome, where Damien
gotta
was
go.
born. So
Yep.
so Robert basically just leaves Kathy in the hospital, and
Well, she's safer there than at home.
so they're off looking for like birth records. A taxi driver informs them that the hospital burned down 5 years ago, including all records in the maternity ward.
Dun dun dun.
That can't be coincidence, can it, Oz?
Nope, I doubt it.
Keith reads some more like Antichrist mumbo jumbo documentation. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I love in these movies, like sheep are always like they portend evil. Like they're driving up to this monastery and like there's sheep everywhere. I don't know. Why do sheep get a bad rep in horror movies?
I don't know. I would think,
Sheep and goats.
I was gonna say goats. Yeah. they've got horns, especially the goats. I could see the goat of like, ooh, the devil has horns and goats have horns.
Cloven hooves, maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Mm-hmm. It's hooves.
Yep.
I don't know. Sheep and goats, they get a bad rep.
But
I got
satyrs
you.
never.
I got
but,
you, sheep
but
and goats.
Satyrs never do. You know, like a half man, half goat. They seemed fine. They always seem to be helpful in Narnia.
Well, we're in. Where are we at? We're in Rome, not Narnia right now. So
that's true.
They find a father that's Spoleto. I don't know. Whatever. He was the guy who gave Robert the baby 5 years ago.
Right.
And they're told that he's taken a fall from grace. So they find him. His face is like melted, and like he's catatonic. He's in bad shape, Oz.
Yes, he is. Poor guy.
So Robert starts screaming at this catatonic man, like, I know you know something.
As you do.
Yeah, as you scream at a catatonic person in a monastery.
I'm Robert Thorn, ambassador to Great Britain.
I'm Gregory Peck.
You need to tell me what I need to know.
And so he scribbles the name of some old cemetery, which apparently is the first time he's responded to any kind of stimuli in years.
Because nobody's yelled at him.
Yeah. You wonder, has he heard everything?
Oh, I'm sure he has.
I hope no one said or did anything unseemly around him, because he probably couldn't do anything about it.
No. Yeah, because he wasn't in a coma. He was just catatonic.
Yeah, I mean, he's there, but he's not there.
Right.
So they go to this cemetery that's like on the other side of Rome or whatever, and they break in. It's a super dark, dank cemetery. Like everything's broken, and there's like broken fences, and
yeah, it's not the new area of the cemetery.
No, it's definitely
this is the 5-year-old part of the cemetery.
And so Robert and Jennings go grave digging.
Grave digger. They go roll it in on their monster truck.
Yep. Let's get some massive air.
Right.
So they jump Gravedigger over 20 cars.
Right, they jump the fence, pop a wheelie, smash a school bus, and then dig up a grave.
Yeah, they use the giant wheel. They just floor it. It just digs up all the dirt.
It's like they
yeah,
grave digger. American flags flying everywhere.
And then they went to the Allstate Arena for the rest of the show.
They did.
So they dig up the grave of the woman and the infant boy who died June 6th, 5 years ago. And something starts watching them. You get some first-person shots from things that are like creeping around above them. Which is kind of a cool little
it was cool
thing they had there. They start by digging up the woman's grave first, and it's no ordinary woman remains.
Nope.
It's a jackal.
That's right. A jackal. Not the, like, hardcore metal band Jackal. But
or the somewhat obscure Spider-Man villain. It's an actual jackal.
It's the bones of a jackal.
Yeah. And so
jackal
they're like
bones.
So they're like,
old jackal bones.
What about this child grave? We got to dig that one up too. And there's a human infant there with a cracked skull.
Yeah.
So that was Robert and Kathy's biological child,
right,
buried there.
That also got skewered by a much smaller lightning rod.
Mm-hmm.
Right, not really.
And then I don't know where the 4 Rottweilers attack.
Yeah, they should have stayed in the monster truck. They wouldn't have got attacked up there.
Nothing's getting in a grave digger. So there's a scene fraught with tension as they escape. Robert kind of like impales his arm on like top of the fence.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, and then later on he just kind of patches himself up.
Right, he doesn't have the Peter Horton.
No,
he doesn't have the dedication of a Peter Horton.
No, he's no Peter Horton.
Gregory Peck is no Peter Horton.
He does not have
heard it here.
Athletic prowess of Peter Horton.
And the awareness of injury. You heard it here first, folks. Peter Horton's career has been stolen by Gregory Peck.
So they're back at their hotel in Rome, and Robert calls Kathy at the hospital, and he's like, "You got to get out of London now. You got to come to Rome.
Right. Pack your bags
and get over here.
Hide your friends. Hide your wife.
Get over here."
Right.
And so she's like, "Okay, like I guess we could do that." So she starts packing her bags up. You get this like cool eerie reflection of herself in the window.
Yeah,
and
it was cool.
And you know, like something's gonna happen here. That window,
Oh, yeah.
that window wouldn't have reflected itself.
No, that real thin window
Yep.
on the high-rise floor of the hospital.
So as Kathy's like taking off her, I don't know, like sheen something or other. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
I don't know.
whatever. Like she's taking off her saran wrap.
Right.
And, and she hears someone, and she turns, and who's at the hospital? Who's in her room, Oz?
Billy Whitelaw. Mrs. Baylock. That's
She's
the actress.
there. And Kathy's terrified, and we get another one of my favorite tropes. We get the
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we cut to... Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
So yeah, we cut to Kathy crashing through the window.
You know, this is a Richard Donner thing. You know, if you've seen Lethal Weapon, especially the opening scene, you know Richard Donner loves to throw pretty women from the top of a building, landing onto a vehicle down below. This is a Richard Donner. And I just thought of that. I'm like, wait a minute, Donner's done this. This is his thing.
Oh, we also get Lois Lane like falling off things in like was both Superman 1 and 2, I think.
You get Josh Brolin's character in Goonies flying off the cliff on his bike. Mm-hmm. Well, not his bike, but yeah. So it's a Donner thing. He loves to see pretty people fall from high places.
Director trope.
Yeah, if he would have directed Forrest Gump, you bet Jenny would have jumped.
Oh,
but
Richard
yes,
Donner.
we see her come flying from above as she comes crashing through an ambulance roof. A tinfoil ambulance roof.
Yep, she did. She's gone.
And only bleeding from the mouth.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was she landed, corner of mouth first.
Right. It's Lee Remick. We got to keep her pretty.
Yeah.
Even in death. That's an ambassador's wife. Like, come on. We can't have her ugly on the front page of tomorrow's paper.
I mean, she is the trophy wife.
That is, yeah.
So Robert gets a call. Kathy's dead, and he's
Yep.
heartbroken, as he should be, because
the only person he really loved in this movie just died. Because he, left her alone.
So Keith comes in, and he's like, "I got the name of the town that we got to go to." Translates to Armageddon. Bum bum bum. Okay.
Right.
I
know. It's
more churchy, revelation-y type stuff.
I mean,
okay.
they lay it on real thick.
Oh yeah, it's
not
like,
through the whole movie though. Like it started like a wedge. It started small, and then really broadened out to where now everything is religious.
Yeah, there's nothing subtle in this movie.
No.
Robert tells Jennings Kathy's dead, and quote unquote, "I want Damien to die too."
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like
he
doesn't want to be a single dad with a kid. A 60-year-old single dad with a 5-year-old, like.
I just in my head just had an image of like a 80s sitcom like opening roll at like something about a 60-year-old single dad.
Right.
He's trying to make it on his own.
With his son's the Antichrist. Tune in Tuesday nights at 8 for Devil and Daddy.
Starring Tony Danza.
Right.
And Emmanuel Lewis.
Guest starring Jake the Snake Roberts.
Let's see. We cut to Keith and Robert. They're at this excavation site near Jerusalem. So they found this city. They talked to some guy named Buchenhagen. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever.
It was. He
didn't make the character list.
No, he didn't. It's like, okay, we're gonna give him that kind of name. All right. So he says that he's got to talk with Robert alone. And Jennings is like, "I've come all the way here," and it's like, oh, well, and like I've got this shadow spike through me. I deserve to know, but they leave him out. So Jennings is he's kind of mad. He's kind of flustered, and Robert says, ultimately, Buchenhagen gives Robert special knives, like religious knives that you have to use.
Yeah. In a church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to kill him with these knives in a church and confirm he's the Antichrist because he's got a birthmark probably under his hairline. So.
And Robert goes, I know every square inch of my son. All right. Bob. Weirdo. To which then, Buchenhagen bails him out with been like, sometimes it's under the hairline. Check his scalp. Oh, okay.
Okay. Because otherwise that would have gotten really weird really fast.
Yeah, right.
So, Robert and Keith are kind of arguing. Robert's like, I won't kill my child. And he throws the knives away.
Right. Chucks them.
Yeah. Just gives it the old, like, drop back pass.
Yeah. From a 60-year-old man. So they're just over there. They didn't go far.
So Jennings goes to give the knives because he's like, I don't want to be I don't want to have a shadow spear through me.
Yeah, right.
And
Fine, I'll do it.
And these knives landed in this like little construction site, I think, in at the bottom of a hill.
Yeah.
And above
at the top of the hill, someone's going to have some glass installed.
Yeah. So there's like a pickup truck with these like panes of glass at the back of it. And of course the parking brake gives just out of nowhere on its own.
Of course.
And it rolls backwards, and you think that he's going to get hit by the truck,
right?
But no, the wheels of the truck hit this. I don't know, like this.
Yeah. Excavation stone
site.
Or whatever.
So it stops the truck. However, it does not stop the momentum of these panes of glass
that were not secured.
Yeah. So
these guys have panes of glass stretched across the back of a pickup truck, and they're not securing them, just driving around an excavation site full of bumpy roads and rocks, and the glass is perfectly fine up to this point.
We've had to go back 3 times for more glass, Herb. Can you strap them down? Okay, boss.
Nice Roman name like Herb.
I'm assuming it was a Herb.
It was a Herb.
And so, so the truck hits this ledge. So it stops, but the momentum of these glass panes do not, one of which slides out and decapitates Jennings. Oh, my lord.
His head just slow-mo flipping through the air.
Oh, yeah.
No blood.
Yeah, yes.
Just whatever.
Flipping end over end like a kickoff.
Right.
Like Robbie Gold just sent one to the other team.
Sebastian Janikowski with an onside kick.
He got all of that one.
I did read in the trivia that Richard Donner knew that this was going to be a shocking scene, so he purposely filmed it in slow-mo so that when people initially covered their eyes and then uncovered them, his head would still be flipping in the air.
It did seem like it went on for a while.
It's like it was definitely the ultimate shot of the film of like it was the it's another one of those horror scenes in the movie that really made it a horrific experience. But
yes.
But yeah, this is the one that if you've seen The Omen, this is the scene that probably sticks in your head.
As your head flips end over end, yes.
Yeah, cuts off your head. Sorry, misspoke there.
So Robert goes home. We're kind of building to the climax of the film here. The dog is still there.
Yeah.
That Baylock. He traps the dog in the basement.
Right. Tricks that dog into going downstairs.
He goes into Damien's room, takes a pair of scissors and starts cutting Damien's hair. And Oz, he has the birthmark. It's there. It was under his hair the whole time. So yeah, Robert didn't know every inch of him.
Thankfully, it was the first spot he looked.
Yeah, it was right there.
He didn't have to cut. He was like Baylock was asleep. Like that, the dog barking downstairs apparently didn't wake anybody up. But
nope.
Yeah, he was pretty meticulous about finding this birthmark.
So Robert realizes what he has to do, and then is attacked by Baylock. And oh man, what a fun fight scene this is!
Yeah, this is it was a lot of fun. This was a Glenn Close, Michael Douglas, and that was that kind of fight scene.
She is out of her mind.
Oh, she's crazy.
Biting at him, scratching at him, clawing at him, jumping on him. Everything she could do. Like she's
scary. Like it was. She did a great job acting the scene out. She was scary.
Yeah. Yeah. There was no restraint whatsoever.
To add to the ambiance here, my dogs are going bananas down in the basement. So let's just pretend that I'm adding in the soundtrack of the Rottweiler downstairs barking.
It adds to the urgency of this podcast, because if there's one thing that I think defines Let's Talk About Flicks, it's tension.
Yeah. With this being episode 26, we are definitely trying to play out for the rest of our show of recreating as much of the film environment as we can in each podcast.
Yeah.
So that's what the barking dogs are adding right now.
I even had a fake head of mine made.
Just in case.
Yeah, in case we wanted to, slice it off with a pane of glass.
Right. I'm having shish kebabs for dinner. Shish kabrennans.
So they continue fighting. Like, the fight goes all the way down a flight of stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And they end up in the kitchen. And Robert eventually stabs her with, I think, a screwdriver? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was a quick wound. Like, it was a quick demise of Baylock here.
I felt like she deserved better.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, it was like he gets her, like, here. Like up in the meaty part of the shoulder, and then she
she probably tore a rotator cuff. I mean, she's never gonna throw a slider again.
Right. She's like, it's like he ended her career right there.
Yeah, right there. How heartless is that?
Oh,
she may as well be dead.
Bob Thorn.
Robert grabs Damien and throws him in the car, and they're off to the church. And he's driving everywhere. I understand he's probably beside himself. I mean, he did just kill a person.
Yeah.
But he's driving everywhere. Draws the attention of the police.
Yeah.
And something I noted as he's driving, you hear a little voiceover, like the police talking with each other over the radio, and you hear, heading west on Old Church Road. Oh, he's going to the church. Oh, that's
church.
it.
Yeah, he's going to the old church.
Hey, audience, psst, they're going to the church.
Notice he wasn't on his way to Supermarket Street.
No.
We caught him on Library Lane.
This guy's on Podiatrist Boulevard.
Culver's cul-de-sac.
Ooh, I would love to live on Culver's cul-de-sac.
That would be all right. Oh. I don't know. I would love it, but my waistline would not.
Oh, well, sometimes you got to pick your spots, I guess. So
Right.
Robert, they get to the church that's on Old Church Road, and Robert carries a screaming Damien into the church. He's just got him under his arm like a sack of potatoes.
Yep.
And he drags him up to the altar, and Robert goes to stab him, and Damien just looks at him and says, "Please, Daddy, no.
Yeah,
Please,
stop,
please,
Daddy.
please, Daddy, no."
And it's Damien's first complete sentence of the entire film.
Yeah. Robert screams out, "Help me, God!"
I'm gonna take my time killing this child.
And
He does.
in the meantime, as he takes his sweet time, the police barge in.
Yeah,
And-
Sting and all the others.
Yeah. Every breath he takes.
They were gonna record Synchronicity in that church.
Yes.
Actually,
Great acoustics.
Robert Thorn beat him to it.
Give me 500 didgeridoos.
Right.
And Robert grabs one of those special
Right.
Antichrist knives.
One of those Cutco Antichristers.
Yeah. And raises his arm completely over his head.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, we just watched him kill Baylock with a shove. Like,
yeah.
he had one of these to kill Baylock, but he needs to wind up to kill this 5-year-old.
I'm surprised he didn't do like the Hulkster. Yeah, do his
Like the
arm
arm circles.
360. So he raises the knife to stab Damien and is shot dead by the police.
Right. You're going down, brother.
And then Robert gets back up. He's hulked out. But
Right. No bullets stopping him. He's blowing hard.
alas, we cut to daytime and 2 caskets are being prepared. 2
Yeah.
adult-sized caskets.
Yes.
And there's military honors. The taps is playing at a bugle. They're folding the flag. And
We see over the shoulder of the president and
Yeah.
the first lady.
yeah, because again, they're pals with Robert and Kathy.
Yeah.
They know each other.
Yeah. They're the only 2 at the funeral, apparently.
Yeah, and president and the first lady, they ask to have a moment by themselves, and camera kind of pans down because they're not standing shoulder to shoulder next to each other.
No,
and
there's room for the camera, but there's also room
for Damien.
He's
standing there.
He's now the first child.
Yeah, holding the first lady's hand. And as you said before, that we speculate that Damien doesn't know who or what he is throughout the film. I would argue until this moment, because Damien pulls a Ferris Bueller or a Deadpool, and he looks directly into the camera.
Or a Pee Wee Herman.
Paging
Mr. Herman.
Paging the Antichrist.
That is my absolute favorite. I love that movie, but that is my favorite part of that movie every time.
Oh yeah,
is when you got James Brolin and Morgan Fairchild on screen, and he's in the background. He just keeps staring at the camera. I just love it.
Paging.
But yeah, Damien pulls one of those and gives a little smile to the camera.
Yep. Aww.
He's aware.
He knows what he is, and he knows
That's
that he's got the influence now. So
yeah,
pretty much the world's gonna end, folks.
Yep.
Roll credits.
The end.
So we do get a cut to a title card of some other quote from Revelation and about the beast. More churchy Revelation-y mumbo jumbo. Yeah. But yeah. That's it. That's 1976 is the Omen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hollywood sometimes, I mentioned, last week, I haven't read the Bible, or one of these weeks I have. No, it was last week we were talking about Children of the Corn. I haven't read the Bible, but Hollywood definitely loves to take liberty with just adding stuff to the Bible that fits the narrative. And so, I had read some of the stuff in this that they quoted from the Bible. Of course, wasn't biblical, but whatever. Keep the cameras rolling. But yeah, that's it. That's the Omen.
That's the Omen. That's Richard Donner's The Omen. So at this point in the show, folks, Oz and I give our own unique rating to the film we've been yammering about. In this case, The Omen. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'd give it 7 crushed cars by Gravedigger. 7 smashed vehicles.
Digger.
How about you?
No jackals getting out of there.
No. Mother Jackal is not going to survive.
Nope. I'm going with 71 decapitated David Warners.
There you go.
71 of them.
71.
Heads flipping around like a football.
71 flips of David Warner's head.
Morton Anderson kicking it off.
Morton Anderson. He's probably still kicking, isn't he?
I'm sure he is someplace.
Probably.
You could kick into your 60s. I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
As we start to close the show, folks, we got the 3, 2, 1. That's where Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about the movie in discussion, in this case, The Omen. Oz, what are your 3 goods for The Omen?
My 3 goods. Number 1, Mrs. Baylock is a crazy kind of evil.
Oh, she's the best. The worst at the best. Yes.
Yeah, kudos to Billy Whitelaw. She played an absolute perfect portrayal of this character. Creepy, sincere, but just she was there to protect that child, and that's what she was going to do. So that's my first good, Mrs. Baylock and her evil craziness. 2, I love the results of 70s filmmaking techniques. Before things could go digital, we needed a baboon riot. So we're going to have a baboon riot, the baboon napping, to get the Harvey Stevens, the actor that played Damien, to get him to do things on camera. Like, Richard Donner would just be nasty to him. Like, like that end at that smile. I think I read he told him something along the lines of, you better smile here or I'm not going to be your friend, you little bugger. Like, just being nasty to these kids, but it's just scaring them, basically. Give me what I want. And, so obviously that level of filmmaking is not appreciated and really honored and kosher by today's standards. But that's just kind of how the 70s were. Like, you do what you got to do to get the shot. And so it's just fun little trivia. Obviously you don't want to see, Harvey Stevens go through that kind of, torment, but It's still just fun to read. And 3, even though they laid it on pretty thick to make it obvious, I really enjoyed the back and forth of Robert. There was this little subplot of, is Damien actually the Antichrist or not? Or is Robert insane? You know?
Yeah, just enough doubt there.
Yeah, and so I would say that adding Mrs. Baylock's character is the first thing they did to really point it in the direction of Antichrist, you know, because she could have been just another crazy person. But really, outside, we didn't see Damien do anything awful. There wasn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, he bumped Kathy when she was on the stool, but he didn't kill anybody. He himself, as a 5-year-old, he wasn't a demon child.
Yeah.
You know, and so
he's no Dennis
there was
the
enough,
Menace.
Absolutely not. And so had there been some of that in there, you know, like we saw every week so far that we've covered, look, we saw Rhoda being terrible. You know, we didn't see Damien being terrible. And so it definitely, you know, led to, you know, you could easily fall into the whole, like, is this kid really bad or is his parents just awful and insane? And so that was kind of fun as my third good. How about you? What are your 3?
My 3 goods, I'm going to start with Gregory Peck. It's, despite the age difference between he didn't cast himself, he didn't cast her, so it's like... Right. Fair enough. Yeah. But, you know, a good Gregory Peck performance is great in my book.
Oh, yeah.
Melissa L., one of our Patreon subscribers, also has a thing for Gregory Peck, so she will probably... Wherever Melissa L. resides, she will appreciate the love for Gregory Peck. So
I hope you're listening, Melissa L.
Yeah. She doesn't like podcasts. Just the whole genre just doesn't do anything for her.
Right. She likes to watch them with them muted.
Yeah.
She'll watch the YouTube channel but mute it. She doesn't like to hear them talk.
She's practicing her lip reading. It's really going along. I'm proud of her.
You know a lot about Melissa L.
Well, I mean, I'm speculating. I mean, why else would someone watch YouTube muted?
You make a valid point.
I mean, you can't argue that logic.
So Gregory Peck's performance.
Gregory Peck performance good. First check. Number 2, the death scenes. Oh, some really imaginative death scenes.
Yeah, that fit. Like imaginative, but they're not like Final Destination level of goofiness. Like
it didn't have that kind of shtick to it, that campiness to it. But they definitely they were creative. And, you know, they were meant to be memorable and catch your attention and be like, oh, have you seen the Omen? Oh, that scene where that guy gets his head cut off by a pane of glass?
Yeah. Is that the scene where the lady jumps from a noose at a birthday party?
Is that movie where that big spike impales that guy and he's still standing up?
No, that was Hot Fuzz.
I immediately thought of that scene in Hot Fuzz.
I did too. And if only he would have staggered around a little bit.
I love how he just a little too long he stays at his feet.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Hot Fuzz.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. My third is let's go with the chanting, singing. Why not? I was debating between that and the last act of the movie, but I love again, I've mentioned it before, but I love the stupid movie trope of in religious, spiritual, supernatural movies of like songs that have like chanting in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know.
They're just fun.
It tickles my genre bone. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
it's dumb,
absolutely.
but I love it.
It's like they're going all in. Like they're not going to tiptoe around it. They're like, well, all right. Well, and here's a movie about the son of the devil.
And there's
Let's
nothing
go in.
there's nothing that tiptoes in this movie. It's all right there.
No, it's heavy. It's heavy lifting.
Everything is Father Brennan, quoting Revelations to start a conversation.
Yeah, not a how are you doing today?
You must atone for your sins. By the way, my name is Father Brennan.
Right. You guys, yeah, I'm parked outside. You guys,
the meter's running. Gotta get to the point. Can you validate? I'm double parked next to the Jimmy John's guy. All right, Oz, what are your 2 bads?
My first one is their little quick trip to Italy for a little religious lesson. Like, that's really where things started to go on real thick.
Yeah.
When they head and they're getting these special knives and these special instructions and, digging up a jackal. It's like, it just, it was important to the plot, but it just was, I don't know, it just seemed very, like, Thorn was all about his political position, and now he's all about the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first. It's just this little quick trip, to Rome.
Yeah, little jaunt.
And my second one is how quickly he found Damien's birthmark. You're checking a head like. Damien, you didn't even notice he was missing any hair. That's how quickly he found that birthmark. And it was a tiny birthmark.
Yeah.
We're looking like a thumbprint-sized birthmark. But he found it rather quickly.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
well,
so those are my two bads.
He knows every inch of Damien.
It's true. Maybe that's it. He knew where to look.
Yeah.
He just overlooked it.
Father's intuition.
What are your two bads?
My two bads, I'll start with David Warner. I don't know if I like his performance or I don't. I don't know. He's also one of those actors, like he pops up sometimes and it just overacts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like I wanted to not like his performance, even though I don't think it was that bad. There's just something about David Warner that always bothered me.
He's that way in Titanic too. He's just real. He's just got a real smarmy look to him.
Yeah. And the neck scarf coming full circle in that conversation.
But that performance, and I mentioned Waxwork earlier. Have you seen the movie Waxwork?
I have not.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's surprisingly good for as shticky as it is.
Yeah.
The concept is genius. It's just really good. But Warner's smarminess really, like, it fits perfectly in this movie. Like, it's, I think he's got an ascot on, and it's like it just really fits. And it's a lot of fun. The movie's a lot of fun. We'll have to fit that on the show for sure.
He also looks like Emo Phillips.
A little bit, yeah. He's like Emo's more successful cousin.
Yeah. BMO Phillips.
Right. So.
My other bad is, and I debated whether to bring this up or not, but it's like, movies like this, whether they want to or not, they kind of have an agenda. Like, it's like, not to get too religious or anything like that. Like, that's not the point of this state of where I'm going with this, but like, there's like a, I don't know, like a fear, like a scare tactic to it, like only only the power of a belief system can save you and save the world. It's like,
right.
And like,
it wouldn't be surprised to be like, you watch the credits all the way to the end and it was like special thanks to the Catholic Church. For the support and I get what you mean though.
It's like I'm not saying this to be divisive or make it like a thing, but it's just one of those, I don't know, movies like this. You could throw The Exorcist in there.
I was going to say the same thing. The Exorcist is the same way.
It's again, and that doesn't mean they're bad films or they're not well made or whatnot. It's just, even if the filmmakers had no intention of it, there's definitely a narrative that people take from it, or like a meaning, like an unintended meaning that people take from this.
It just feels like there's certain types of people that could take a film like this and use it for propaganda. Like, see, this is real. Because they talk about the Bible in that movie, and the Bible is real. And,
it validates like a belief system in a way that isn't healthy or isn't productive or isn't inclusive, and it just I don't know. So just I don't know. I'm probably making it a bigger thing than what it is, but it's just
You've never done that.
No, me never. No. Never taken
First
a small
time.
thing and blown it up.
No. Definitely didn't overthink Children of the Corn last week.
No, I definitely have not cornered the market on that. Oz, what's your for the Omen?
Oh, to me, it's a very obvious one. Why on any planet would Robert Thorn agree to take an unclaimed baby to replace his own and never, ever mention it to his wife? Even when she is telling him, I'm having these worries that Damien's not mine. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what you mean.
No, that's preposterous.
Right, like she's
I gotta go
therapist.
talk to your psychiatrist.
Like she's seeing a psychiatrist and telling a psychiatrist, I don't feel like that child is mine. And he's just keeping it all secret. Oh, it's just like that's my
healthy relationship built on openness and trust.
Right. What's your
My is just simply, again, at the end of the movie, he's driving to the church. Why has he got to be like jerking the wheel all over the road?
Right.
You got one thing to do.
He's been driven everywhere. He's never driven before.
That's true. He's the ambassador.
He's the ambassador. He could have called for a police escort. Like, they'd have given it to him.
I mean, yeah, he just...
But you're right. Like,
I understand, he just killed a lady, and he watched a guy get decapitated, and his wife's dead. I mean, yes, those things matter, but, like, you got one last thing to do here. Just get to the church. Go the speed limit. Go the speed limit.
In Rome, he didn't drive a monster truck that way.
No. He drove that monster truck appropriately.
Oh, I so badly want somebody, like, all these stupid little things that we add to these perfectly fine films. I would love to see somebody be like,
the Oz and Curtis version of them.
Yeah, that is a fantastic idea.
Where they show up to this tiny gravesite, like outside of Rome, in a monster truck.
Gregory Peck and David Warner. Oh,
there it is, Jennings. I'm glad we drove here in Gravedigger.
Gravedigger. As they look at the camera as they say it, their arms hanging on the, like it's hanging out the window.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. We're gonna dig up a jackal.
Oh boy.
So that was the Omen, and that wraps up this month, Oz.
It does. The Creepy Kids in Film Month is come to an end.
It does.
That's the end of our first 6 months.
It is. We've been doing this for half a year.
On the road to 20,000.
On the road to 20,000 episodes.
What do we have coming next month?
Next month is Alliteration Month.
Yeah.
Mad Max May.
That's right.
Oh, there we go.
All 4 Mad Max movies coming at you.
All of them.
In order.
Starting next week with 1979's Mad Max, kicking everything off.
So, and I'll be bringing that one to the table. So you make sure you get down the 2 characters in that movie. And I'll take care of the rest. But yeah, so that's it for this month. And like you said, like Curtis said, we're kicking off next month with Mad Max as we do Mad Max month. Could have Mel Gibson month too for 3/4 of it.
Mad Max Mel May month.
Right. Fury Road.
Ooh, I can't wait till we get to that one.
I'm so excited to end the month on that one. It's one of my favorite movies, period.
I was just about to say, I think that movie's probably cracked my top 10 all time.
Yeah,
it's just
so
that
good.
awesome.
Yeah, such an awesome movie. So very much looking forward to getting to that. You know where to find us because you're here already. So podcast apps, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Your mom's house.
YouTube if you'd rather watch us there. But yeah, this is what we do. This is what we do. Once a week, we watch a movie and we do this, and I'm loving it.
And we insert dumb pop culture references into.
That's right. That's what we do. So if you love dumb pop culture references, stick with us because we've got another almost 20,000 to go.
Yeah.
But to wrap it up for this week, for Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
And I'm Curtis.
And we will see you on the flippity flip.